Na 49 jaar is hij weer terug. David Robson uit Australië, die in deze kist heeft gevlogen tijdens de Vietnamoorlog. Hoe dat is gegaan, wat er allemaal is gebeurd, daar gaan we naar kijken en naar luisteren. Je bent bijna 74. Je vliegt bijna 15.000 kilometer naar Nederland. En dan sta je oog in oog met het vliegtuig waar je talloze gevaarlijke missies mee vloog boven Vietnam. Net boven de boomtoppen in vijandelijk gebied met gevaar voor eigen leven. Dit is het verhaal van David Robson, Australische gevechtspiloot. Uitgezonden naar Vietnam om met de bondgenoten het oprukkende communisme te bestrijden. Robson weet dat er verschillend over die strijd wordt gedacht, maar heeft geen twijfel over toen.
By some measures the war was lost because the territory was lost. The North Vietnam occupied the South. There were many refugees. The boat people, as you know, suffered enormously trying to escape from South Vietnam. Vietnam has now become unified as a communist country. That all is a great pity, and of course Laos and Cambodia haven't really progressed a lot since then. Hopefully some lessons were learnt though, despite the fact that it was lost and despite the fact it got massive media attention and a lot of counter-protests that were against the war. I mean, we were against the war, but we were doing our job.
Vietnam was de oorlog waarbij de media haast onderdeel waren van de gevechten. Fotografen, journalisten en cameramensen zaten in de frontlinie. Mede daardoor veranderde het beeld van de oorlog. Onschuldige burgers mochten geen slachtoffer worden. Maar gewonde en gesneuvelde soldaten werden ook maar moeilijk geaccepteerd door de kijker.
It raised public awareness of the use of napalm, cluster weapons, landmines, chemical weapons, all of those sorts of things. Most of those now are totally banned by the Geneva Convention, and we subscribe to that, as do the Americans. So those lessons, hopefully from all of the people that died there, hopefully as a human race, hopefully we've learned some lessons from that.
Hij lijkt kalm. Tegelijkertijd merk je dat de ontmoeting met zijn liefje hem bepaald niet onberoerd laat.
Probably if it was late at night and private, I'd probably give her a little kiss. Because after all, it's a bit like sharing the danger. We were there together, and after a while you actually give the aeroplane a personality. We call it she. It's traditional to call your aeroplane a girl, a she. And we came back safely. We were never hit by small arms fire. We never had a major incident or accident. She kept me safe through the Vietnam War, so I owe her a great deal of debt. And I didn't think she was still alive, and it's wonderful to see her again. I flew maybe 5 different O2s in Vietnam. I flew a total of 250 missions. I flew more than 50 in this aeroplane, this actual aeroplane. So it's quite significant to realize she's still alive and well, and it's nice to see her again. It's like finding your old girlfriend after a long time.
Niet alleen de risico's waren groot. Ook de verantwoordelijkheden van de pas 24-jarige David Robson waren dat. Met de O2 moest Robson doelen markeren voor de gevechtspiloten en ook trachten te voorkomen dat eigen troepen en, nog veel belangrijker, burgers werden getroffen.
Because of the jungle canopy and so on, it was very hard for the jet pilots to know exactly where they were. I mean, they had their navigation equipment, and that could tell them where their base was and where the refueling tankers were and so on. But to see where the troops were, and to see where the small villages and things like, they couldn't see them. And they needed help, and we needed help, because we didn't want to risk them misidentifying the target or misaiming and dropping a bomb on friendly troops, or worse, dropping a bomb on a civilian village. So the forward air controller was given the total responsibility for controlling the artillery, the helicopter gunships and the fighters while the airstrike was taking place. And what we did is we marked the target with white phosphorus rockets, which were fired from these tubes, and they created a puff of white smoke, intense white smoke, which showed up against the jungle, and that gave the fighter pilots something accurate to aim at. They could then put that in their sights, and they knew, and then we knew from our reconnaissance and from a briefing we had every day with our troops, we knew exactly where our troops were and where the enemy was firing at them from. And we could place the white phosphorus rocket very, very accurately because it was a very accurate weapon. And then we could control the strike. We could make sure the fighter was actually pointing at the smoke, and we would say, "You are cleared live," which meant he could release his weapon. So we were responsible and accountable for those weapons.
De prestaties van de O2 en zijn piloten kunnen moeilijk onder woorden worden gebracht. Feit is wel dat er ongeveer een derde van de toestellen verloren ging. 250 collega forward air controllers lieten het leven.
It's typical of the role that it played. I mean, if you look at, there were three main types of forward air control aircraft. The O1, the Bird Dog, the O2, the Oscar Duck, and the OV-10 Bronco. A total of 250 forward air controllers lost their lives. So the mission itself was quite dangerous, and the ground firing sometimes could be intense. So it doesn't surprise me that many aeroplanes were lost. Some were lost to accidents, of course, but some to war, yeah.
You didn't have any trouble?
You saw the ground fire, but no, we were never hit, and that's why I've got a close attachment to this aeroplane. No, never hit. We had a general policy that the small arms fire was much reduced if you flew above 1,500 feet, because the accuracy was reduced considerably. And after you come back from Vietnam, whenever you fly in any aeroplane, you come below 1,500 feet, you think, "Oh, what am I doing here?" Because you're not used to the fact that it's a friendly territory. You know, you expect ground fire.
Na de hernieuwde vlucht met de O2 zien we een andere David Robson. Dankbaar dat hem in Vietnam niks overkwam.
I didn't imagine for 1 minute that it would be possible that nearly 50 years later I'd fly my girl again. So no, it's quite amazing. Thank you.
Vanaf nu vliegt de O2 met een kangoeroe en de handtekening van David Robson op de neus.